Hi, Avani. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I mean, as amazing as I can be. So,
So good to see you online. Thank you so much for taking time out for this conversation.
thank you so much for having me.
So you did the GES Smart Prep before you left India for your higher studies in Australia.
Yes,
When
correct.
was it?
I did the Smart Prep program from January to February, and I landed in Australia in February, just
In
before that.
February 2026. You just finished your semester one in Australia.
Yeah, just finished my semester one, and it's safe to say it has been pretty good so far. And still,
Awesome.
you?
So this is a perfect time for us to review how the GES Smart Prep really helped you to transition well in your first semester in Australia. Before you started your Smart Prep, how confident did you feel about studying and living in Australia?
I was I was very underconfident. I was very scared that what's gonna happen. I'm taking the biggest risk of my life, and what if it doesn't turn out to be a good decision? I was actually pretty underconfident about my decision, but
Mm.
I always wanted to do it. So yeah, that
Avni, I so correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember well, I know that you were in Mumbai before you decided to come to Australia. You were working, so you were in the industry for around 3 years. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yes,
then you decided to do your Masters of Finance
finance, yeah,
at
yes,
Deakin University in Australia.
I think
Okay.
yes.
And still, you felt that you were not really confident about your journey. Why is that?
So, the Australian study structure is a lot different than what we are used to. We are used to rote learning, we are used to just giving the exams, just preparing for that. But here you have to actually work on the assignments, learn practical things, and apply those things in the exams. So, everybody has this misconception that it's the study abroad thing is really easy. You don't need to study a lot in the university. That's entirely untrue. I had no idea. And through the Smart Prep program, I was able to actually understand that it's gonna be like that and it's not all gonna be like rainbows and sunshine. I mean, it is if you make it.
Okay, that's good. So after you completed this smart prep, how confident did you feel? Did you feel that okay, I know it better now? How did that improve your confidence about, being more aware or feeling that okay, now I think I can manage my studies better when I'm overseas?
I actually became pretty confident. I mean, initially I was very scared before the Smart Prep
Mm,
program, but after that I was genuinely very excited and I was very excited to come to Australia,
mm,
have this new experience and actually make my dreams come true because it has always been that. It was always about coming to Australia and making that dream come true. And through the Smart Prep program, I was able to actually understand and relax how to manage.
Manage. So I'll ask you a question which you can give us rating from a scale of 1 to 5. So how clearly did you understand what your first month in Australia would actually be like before the GS Smart Prep? Did you
Um,
think about it? Did you think at all?
I mean, I was like, I'll just figure it out when I go there, but
So on a
I had
scale
no
of one to
idea.
five,
Definitely one or under one.
okay. And then after completing this smart prep, did you really feel that, oh, I think I can manage this better or I know more about what's going to happen?
Yes, I was very unaware as most students are when they are actually coming to Australia. We are just fed the dream that okay, you'll go there, you'll do your studies, which are very easy. You'll get jobs. It's not that easy, and nobody tells you a lot of things. Like here, you're spending in dollars. And initially, people do not know how to budget. I have seen people struggling to a point where they were struggling very much.
Mm.
So I'm glad I'm not one of them.
Awesome. Okay. So now let's come back and ask some questions about your participation. So again, so how comfortable or you thought, you are ready to think questions or ask questions from the trainers or from other people? Did you think about it actively that how important will that be before you actually did smart prep?
I think I did not think like that because firstly, I've been a little underconfident as a student
Mm,
because I was like, what if I ask dumb questions? So, like, I have been pretty underconfident as a student because I was like, what if I ask dumb questions?
mm.
But I remember when you told me that you're paying a lot of money for this experience. You have to make the best out of it. You deserve to get answers of every question that you have. And that made me think that, yeah, there are no dumb questions. You can ask anything you want.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I was able to make the best out of it.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you going to recommend the GES Smart Prep to new students who are thinking of traveling overseas for their higher studies?
Definitely 10. I mean,
Mm.
the preparation that you can do beforehand will save you at least one semester in Australia. Otherwise, one semester you'll be struggling, then you will be able to figure out what and how to navigate life here.
Wow, that's so good to hear. Like, yeah, that's right because it's like as I mentioned to you many times before, it's like just playing any competitive game. You want to prepare before the competition, not
Of
once it
course.
started.
Yeah, as you told me that, like,
Yeah.
you can't just run a marathon. You
Mm.
have to prepare for it. And that's what I liked about the Smart Prep program, as there were so many metaphors. It
Yeah.
felt like real life examples.
Yeah.
That really
Awesome.
helped me.
Yeah. So, since finishing the GSS Smart Prep, what is one specific thing you have done that you probably wouldn't have done otherwise?
Socializing. Biggest thing, biggest
Mm.
achievement of my Smart Prep program and learning has been socializing. I have been a decently social person, but
Mhm.
I would never go up to someone, ask questions, make friends, or just like be curious. You taught me, and the program taught me how to be curious about people, experiences, and how to have the open mindset to actually make it a very good experience overall. So yes, I'm like a part of a lot of clubs, and I have a lot of friends. So it became easier after that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that's so good to hear. Even I didn't know you're a part of so many other clubs now. Okay. So, by now, have you contacted any college or your university support services?
As of now, not
No.
yet. I
Yeah.
as I really didn't need anything. I mean, the program gave me the brief of what should be expecting. So more or less I was able to figure most of the things out, and when I needed some technical
Mm.
help, they were always there. So
Yeah. So you are now aware that these are the services on campus, and you
yeah.
aware how to use them. And when you need, you will know you will go and you will use those.
Yeah, of course, there are like
Yeah.
hundred of things that can help you make it even better experience. Hundred of clubs, games, everything. Like any, even therapy, they offer free therapy sessions. So there are like a lot of good things.
Good things. Awesome. So, have you missed any classes or any assignments due to, some confusion or about sometimes, because of work, or if there's anything that you've missed around your enrollment process, around assessments?
So I had four subjects in which two were very practical and I really loved it. So I never missed a class. But
Mm.
there was one subject that was something environmental related, and I wasn't able to connect to it so much. So I was like, okay, it's an environmental subject. How hard could it be? I
Mm.
was like, so I'll just wing it. And
Mm.
when I winged it, oh my god, that was the first time I got a bad grade, and I got so sad that how could I get a bad grade in this subject? So then I understood that I cannot just take it very lightly. I have to,
That's a good insight for everyone
yeah,
to learn that, yeah, before you make any assumptions, it's always a good idea to review the information and then make an assumption, right?
of course.
Mm.
And trust me, I mean, no student want bad grades
No,
after like this.
no, it's a lot of hard work to do that.
Yeah, of course.
So, did you make any specific plan during the GSS Smart Prep that you think you followed on when you came here?
Yes, I think I made two plans. One was a 3 week plan of how to make the orientation week of my university a good experience. how to connect to more people. Then the second week, I think I was focusing on studying and assignments, how to understand that, how to attend the lectures, everything. And the third week is just navigating and exploring the city, that
Mm.
the new city that I'm in. That was my 3 week plan. And there was one more plan that was like for that was for my entire semester, that what are the achievements that I want to do at the end of my first semester. I was always like, I want to, firstly, first and foremost, every student should. And as I did, I want to get good grades. There is no way I want to not be at the top of my class. So I wanted to get good grades. I wanted to have a community, I would say, so that my life here would be easier. I wanted to find something in my field within 4 to 6 months. I'm still not able to, but I have worked on so many projects by now. So, like, that's still, I'm working towards it, working towards that. And I wanted to get a part time job at the end of my first semester. So, I think I've ticked all the boxes.
So basically, you had a lot of clarity about what you're going to do in your first month and in your first semester, and then you walked backwards in the sense that how you're going to achieve it. So like setting
Yes.
goals, not that what do I want after the completion of the program, because most students are focused on what they want after studies.
Right, right.
That is a
But
long-term goal. That is a long-term goal, and that goal is an outcome of what you do during your studies.
exactly, exactly. If you do not work towards your career during your studies, it will be harder.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that the transition expectations really worked well for you.
Yeah, I think my transition has been way smoother than the people around me. So,
Why do you say that?
I mean, after the Smart Prep program, at least I was ready to face any obstacle that comes my way. I knew that, okay, the assignments are gonna be tough. I knew it was gonna be hard to find a part time job. I knew how to navigate life here. And I've seen people struggling, and especially the budgeting part. People spended money in the first month in a way ki, okay, we wanna party, we wanna do this, we wanna do that. I have also done that, but in my budget. And that's what the Smart Prep taught me, that okay, you have to prioritize things. You have to keep your studies, your socializing, your work. So I just found a ladder.
Okay, so in continuation of the same thing, which part of the GSS Smart Prep was most useful to you? In the sense, was it the pre-departure expectations, or was it the PASIX GM4 formula, or the workbooks? What was very useful to you if you had to pick just one?
I would say the techniques that were used in the program were really useful, and the conversations that we had
Mhm.
made me really understand the process better and helped me transition so smoothly that I didn't realize that I actually moved to another country.
Okay, that's awesome. So that means altogether everything worked. I don't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. So okay, so was there anything or any particular part of the program that you think this one thing worked turned out to be more important than the other?
Yeah, like I think as I would say budgeting, because I was an independent person even back in India, so I was managing my own expenses, and I
Mm,
thought obviously I have this figured out. That
mm,
is one thing I can easily figure that out.
mm,
But I was very wrong, because when you spend in dollars and you're not earning right now, obviously
mm,
as a student you are not, it is hard to actually just keep spending and not being able to save at the end of the day. So I was able to do that, and I thought I would be able to do it
yeah.
very
So
easily, but yeah.
yeah, so it takes some skills, takes some planning, right?
Yeah, of course. Like after you told me to budget and plan, I was able to do that, and like it helped me.
It helped. So was there anything you wish that GSS Smart Prep have covered that it didn't?
Actually, I wished that GSS Smart Prep program would cover a like outcome session, like
Mhm.
after my first semester, how
Mm.
can I improve in my second semester, how can I do better in my second semester.
That's a
But
great
we
thing.
are covering that as well, so I don't think I have
Yes, we
anything
will, we
left.
will do that because we do
Yeah,
we do want this to be a continuation. We want to be with the students throughout
of
their
course.
journey towards the end of the program as well and beyond maybe, but definitely during your study period at university, because at Smart Prep, we really think that the smart preparation is not one thing. It never finishes. You'll always have new ambitions in life, and every time you can use the same formula.
Of course, of course.
Right. So, yes, for your second semester, we will do that. We'll do one outcome session for first one and then see how you have a new plan, which is really more ambitious than your first one
Of
and really
course.
get better. Okay, awesome. So, regarding your support network, did you share anything from a smart prep with your family before you left home?
Yes, my family also attended one session, and I'll tell you how families they were more scared than me. I mean, I always knew I wanted to go, but they never knew that they wanted to send their daughter halfway across the world. So they were really scared. They had taken the biggest risk of their life, and they were just trying to be strong for me. But I could see that they were not strong enough. So when they attended the program, they understood how it works, how people are able to transition better, and how even I'll be able to do the same. So they got really calm, and like there were like a lot of stress that were gone and everything. So much so that they didn't cry at the airport, which was very surprising. They just relaxed.
Oh,
Like, no, no, you will do it.
that's amazing. Oh, so good on you. So, has your family said anything about how prepared or unprepared they seemed compared to the students they knew who did not do something similar preparation?
Yes, as like before leaving, every student I've seen or they have seen, every kid who have gone out has been so stressed because obviously there are like a lot of uncertainties, risk
Mhm.
involved and everything. But during like after the smart prep program, I would say they would only see me excited. Okay, I'm gonna go in 1 week, in 10 days, and they were so happy for me like that.
Because they saw you happy, so they could like, she's
Of
happy.
course.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, because when I was stressed, they would also get stressed. But after the smart prep, I was able to manage that. So
so they
vice
were
versa.
confident
Yeah.
too. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about something very important, time, right? So once you had done the GES Smart Prep, has there been any situation where you knew what to do quickly instead of spending days and finishing it out on your own? Like, did you have more clarity around things and what
No.
were those things?
So around the before my first semester exams, there's 1 month where you have peak assignment season where you have assigned 3 assignments in a week. You have to complete it to the deadline and you have to score well. It's not about just completing the assignments. It is about scoring well and understanding the curriculum. I was able to do that. Initially, it took me like 1 week to figure that out, but then I went through the slides again. I understood what the techniques that were taught in the program. So I was able to imply that, and I was able to score almost distinction in every subject. So
That's amazing. Okay, that's great. So, how much time you think you saved because you already had smart prep and you had the technique? So you were like, okay, now I have something that I can refer and use that. So, if you had to quantify and say, okay, because of the GSS smart prep, I almost saved this much time, wasting my time. I didn't waste my time.
I would say at least 2 months. I mean, initially 2 months, everybody is just figuring life out in Australia or wherever you go.
Mm.
I was able to save that time. I was able to transition within 15 days, and I've seen people they had 2 to 3 months for their transition, and then they ruined the first semester, which affected the grades and overall experience. So yeah, I've seen people struggle, and I was able to transition in 15 days, which was like
Okay.
amazing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you avoided did you avoid any particular redo or repeat or anything because you understood the process more in advance and you didn't have to waste too much time there?
Yeah, like I understood what are my priorities. I understood that my priorities are not part-time job or earning money or like making the entire fees in just 2 semester. And like that's what a lot of people do. They just go chase money or just chase parties or everything, they don't find a balance. I understood how to find a balance through Smart Prep program, and I was able to prioritize things in order.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so now in terms of money, did you save any money just because you did good preparation before?
Definitely. I mean, if I tell you the amount, people would be
Yeah,
like, "Ki
tell
there is."
me. Tell me the amount. Yeah, we want to hear.
I literally saved like $1,200. I compared with one of my friend
Mm,
who got the same money from India as I did, because
mm.
we were friends from India and everything. We knew each other, so we did compare our journeys. And I was like, bro, I have saved like 12. I have savings of $1,200. How are you broke? He was like, yeah, I spend it on this and this and that. It's like I knew where to spend and where not to spend.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helped me. That I only got to know through the Smart Prep program.
So this, okay. Okay, so yeah, I think you've answered few questions that you had around money, and you've answered all of them in one go itself. So that's
Oh,
good. We mostly think about in terms of time and money, but I also want you to think in terms of energy, because I see a lot of
of
students
course.
tired, stressed, and of course, your body takes time to adapt new weather as well, new way of
New way
actually
of.
living a life.
Yeah, exactly.
New food, and you eat, things smell different, right? Things taste different, even though if it's the same thing, it may not taste as it would taste at home. So in terms of energy, how much of your mental energy Smart Prep has helped you to save, in the sense you are like, okay, fine, it's new, I don't know, but I'm not stressed, I think I know how to handle it.
Yeah, I think most of my mental energy was saved because of the Smart Prep program. Because the thing is, for first 15 days, it was very exciting. Oh, you are in a new country, you are having this new experience. But when the feelings sink in that you're actually alone and you have to do everything alone, it becomes overwhelming. And it did for me. It also did become overwhelming for me for 2 days. But then I was like, I got this. I know how to navigate life here. It's not gonna be my biggest struggle. It is gonna be my biggest experience. And that only happened because you taught me how to do it step by step and not just all at once.
Yeah. So did you see students around you like really finding it hard to manage?
Hundreds of students, I would say, but like, if I would talk personally, I have a group of friends who are like 15 people,
Mm.
and I would say at least 12 of them would have struggled through the entire semester, and now at the end of the first semester they are able to do better than they were.
Yeah, because they
But
have
I have
learned
seen them
from hard way.
struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They've learned the hard way. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I did this because of the Smart Prep program, and I was able to do it better than them.
So did you share Smart Prep with anyone in your group?
Yeah, like one of my friend was really stressed because of the budgeting and money
Mm.
issue, because he was also independent in India. So it becomes a habit of not asking for help. So
Yeah.
I told him that it is
Mm.
like, as you told me, it is very, very, very much okay to ask for help from anyone. So he did. And then I was able to help him. I was able to teach him the techniques that, okay, if you do this, if you cut down on this, if you do that, you'll be set. And now he's
Yeah.
doing better.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we've talked about energy things. So I'm sure it has helped you to save energy, because if you've saved time, if you've saved money, if you save any stress, that already helps you save a lot of energy, isn't it? So in terms of stress reduction, on a scale of 1 to 5, how stressful did you expect your first few months in Australia? Oh, no, that's a wrong question. Before the Smart Prep, you came here with Smart Prep.
Yeah.
Okay. So the questions should actually be, okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much you think Smart Prep helped you to help you to stay not stressed in your first semester?
Not stressed. I would say,
Hmm.
like, what's the scale? One on
One
one
to
to five?
five. Yeah.
Five on five, definitely.
5 and 5. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do feel like I'm doing a lot better than I was expecting myself to do. I always used to tell my sister that, okay, first 2 months are gonna be hell for me. They're gonna be really difficult, and I have to go through the struggle to actually make it.
Mm.
But because of the smart prep, I was able to do, yeah, obviously I had bad days, but I was able to make the most of it.
Awesome. Okay, good. So, all right. So, did you experience any sort of panic or crisis that you believe would have been worse if you had not done the preparation?
Panic or crisis, I would say, yeah, like most of my answers would revolve around studies, but this one is about work. Like, I do not support, I actually would recommend people not to not work for the first semester if they can. If
Mm,
they can avoid working, they should just focus on the studies, make the best out of their first semester, actually just have that experience. But if you have had to work, I also had a panic. I was also very panicky about that stuff. Okay, it's been 2 months. I want to work because I feel like
mm,
university I'll be able to manage studies and work at the same time. So for a week I was like really stressed and going here and there. But then I was like, okay, if I can't work, I'll just do the projects. If I can't find a job right now, I can just work on my career. That is still work. So I
mm.
was able to do that, and eventually I was able to land a good part-time job. So all in all, it worked out.
It all worked out. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is a very common panic among international students. And I have seen there is also a bit of competition. I recently
Oh,
met one student, and her older brother was already here. So when she came, her brother helped her for a week and then said, Hey, now you got to look after yourself and find a part time work because it's an independent culture. So don't expect me to be with you the way I was in India. So she was like, That's a shock. And then after a month, he said, What's happening about part time work? And she said, Yeah, I'm looking for that. And then he said, Oh, I found it in 10 days and you have still not found it.
that's not how it's supposed to be. You
Yeah,
are
but
not. You shouldn't be expected to find a part-time job in 10 days.
yeah, so no, but the point here is that it's like a peer pressure. Like, you
Yeah,
don't
of course.
yeah, so the brother might be saying it with good intention, but for his sister it's a pressure. So she's like, "Oh, I'm expected to do that." And she did, by the way. She found a much better part-time job than his brother. So she was very proud and competitive as a sibling competition.
Yes.
But she said that yeah, but it wasn't something she said she was ready for at that time, and it did give her a lot of stress. She did get a better job, but she could think properly. I wouldn't have wasted that much energy into that because I didn't have to take that stress so badly. Not that I needed money, I really needed a better plan. I still had to focus more on my studies, and things became really hard. And she's already a graduate now, but she was like, I worked really, really hard at that time, and I was super stressed because she
Oh
was
my
constantly
God.
proving herself, oh, you did it, so I can do it, like.
There's a lot of comparison in the students as well. Like you got a job at this place, oh you're getting this pay, oh you're getting that. There's a lot of pressure. Peer pressure is like real. But
Real
you have to, yeah, but you have to just take it one step at a time. It's
one
fine.
step at a time. Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, nobody has earned like $10,000 in a month. So they are only making like bare minimum. So even if you delay it 1 month or 2 months, it's not gonna impact your studies and it's not gonna impact your fees. So
Yeah.
don't worry.
Yeah, that's right. So now that, you are almost, I mean, you finished your semester one and you will soon be starting, maybe in a month's time, you'll start your next,
In a week. In a
oh,
week.
a week, you'll
Yeah.
start your
Yeah.
next. Is it a semester or a term for you? You,
It's
you
a
have three?
semester. It's like a 4 month
Okay.
semester.
3
Yeah.
semesters. Yeah. Okay. So, do you think because now you've done this smart prep, if you really get stuck with anything, because of course the smart prep helps you to prepare, but that doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. You will still have new things.
Of course.
It could be related to studies, work, life, whatever. But do you think with what you know now, you are more prepared to ask for a help very early rather than you are aware that I'll recognize it. I know where to go, what actions to take, and you wouldn't be waiting too long until it's too late to take a help.
Of course. So yes, I would say I'm a much better at asking for help or knowing when and where to take help from. So yeah, I'm like much better at that. If I have some study trouble, I would go to my professors. If I have, if I'm not able to make friends, I would just go to any clubs and you just make friends. It's
Mm.
that easy. Like
All right. So you see, there is a clear difference between how you think about your journey and how other students think about this journey who have not done this preparation. Who, again, they're still figuring it out, but they're doing it on their own, and they're
yeah,
learning from their own mistakes. So,
right.
so how do you see that?
Firstly, like how you taught me that how the Smart Prep program taught me that what mistakes to actually avoid and what mistakes are very easy to avoid. You don't need to actually go through it and learn the hard way. You can just learn it from the experience. Like from you can just learn it from the learning. You don't need to experience everything. So that was one thing that is like really stuck with me, and I see people who have struggled the entire semester, and like in a comparative way, if I tell you, if you interview them and you ask would you recommend studying abroad to anyone, they would 110% would say no. And that's not a right thing because they're like, it's really struggling. You can't find a job, you can't manage your assignments, you can't make friends. It's so hard to live here. Everything like there are like hundreds things that they can complain about. But if you interview me and if you ask me, should a person study abroad? I was like, yes, if you have a plan and if you are working hard enough for that plan, if you know you can do it, you should definitely do it because it is so rewarding. It can be so rewarding. You would never be able to experience something like this staying in your hometown or staying in your country. Even if you do not want to stay here, you should just have this experience to actually grow as a person.
That's amazing you say that. So the students who are not experiencing this study abroad journey in an empowering way, why you think is that?
Because they have not prepped for it. I was prepared through the Smart Prep program. I knew what to avoid, what to prioritize, what struggles are gonna be, what amazing things are gonna happen for me. I knew all of that. I knew the good part. I knew the bad part. I knew how to navigate both of those. And I think that's the only difference, that they are not able to, they're still figuring it out. And I'm sure in like 6 months of time, they'll be able to do it. But then they have wasted 1 year figuring life out, which I could do in 1 month. So it is a very big difference when you compare preparing for studying abroad and not preparing for it. That's where the Smart Prep program comes in.
Yeah, that's so important because this is how I have always felt with international students because I realize the difference is huge. It's not a small difference. There's a whole difference of the way you literally live your life, the way you eat, the way you talk to people, the way you study. And suddenly you are expected to do all of that from day one.
Exactly.
And without realizing that things will take time for its transition, and a lot of students have very high expectations from themselves. They want to really perform well from day one without realizing that the performance is not the game here is to learn, right? You're here
Yeah,
to learn,
yeah.
you're paying to learn. So and how will that go? It depends entirely on whether you have a plan or not. And how do you, if you have a plan, then do you have the tools? Do you have the support? Do you have the awareness? You need all these different skills to really be successful in a new environment. So I think that's all. It's been amazing, Avani. Good to see you again and good luck with your
Thank you
next
so much. It was
semester.
amazing to catch up with you.
Same here. And we are going to do your next sessions that you mentioned for sure soon.
Okay. Of
Yeah, we'll
course.
make
That would
sure
be
you
great.
get a great value from your second semester because, of course, we want you to be focused on your ultimate goal, but then you
Exactly.
also want to get value from your short term goals because that's the way your long term goals are going to grow from.
Yeah. Amazing. It was nice to see you, really.